What's up, my people? Before we start the show, make sure you like the video, comment on the commentary, and subscribe to the channel. Become a part of the GVG family, because without you, there's no us. And as always, we thank you, and all praises to the Most High. Now let's get into it. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Hally back again, Gvg Podcast, Detroit representative to the day that I die, East Side in the building. Let's get it, man. You know how we do. It's Gvg Podcast, God versus gods, man. The real God, the Most High God, the creator of all versus all these little deities and things that we put in front of him instead of worshiping him. We love you, Most High. We thank you. Now let's get into the game. Y'all know how I do. I get my points off the phone and then I go off the fly. Y'all ready? Let's do it. Today, we're going to be talking about the black woman prototype. People going to be like, what is that? What does that even mean? Well, stay tuned and we're going to get into it. This is part one. We're going to dive a little deeper in on part two. But you know how I do. We got to give them the milk before we give them the meat. So let's do it. First topic. The first topic is the culture vultures. So stay with me on this one. Before social media, the hood was the hood, the suburbs was the suburbs, the rich were the rich. You know, everybody kind of had their own spacing. And in the suburbs, you didn't really hear hip hop or rap like that. You know, unless it was on like top 40. In the hood, we didn't necessarily hear all of those pop hits and all that type of stuff. So, you know, music plays a big part in, you know, what we're talking about today. So, that's one thing. When social media, when the internet came out, everyone was able to have everything that was out there just be in their lap. So now you could be in Delaware and you can pull up somebody from Chicago doing drill music, and after about 6 months of listening to it, all of a sudden you're smoking, drinking, and carrying guns for ops that you don't even have. So I think the culture vulture thing is real. And one of the things I say when it comes to black women is everybody has this misconception about black women. Everyone thinks that they're, you know, they kind of look at them like these zoo animal creatures. And they're like, oh, they're fascinating. They do this, they do that. Like they're in this petri dish or an experiment. When black women are real, black women are the essence. And you have so many women who are not African American or Hebrew or whatever you want to call it, who have dived into the culture. So they in turn take from the culture, but they can always jump back to their old culture whenever this one isn't working or it gets too real for them. So examples are like, everyone wants the big butt now. BBLs, you know, that started, we know where it was. Everyone wants the pouty lips, the big lips now. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things that black women do that are Eurocentric, straightening their hair and doing certain things, you know, to be the other way, because sometimes they may not feel confident with their natural curly hair. But the deepness of this is that there are women who are basically on the outside looking in, like looking in the window, and only can see one room and not the whole house. So I always looked at it like, wow, you say you wonder why black women are through with, you know, black men. You wonder this, you wonder that. And you don't really understand that all of the games that you're about to get played and all of the things that you're about to go through, they've already went through it. So you think, oh, I'm about to go out here and get this dude and we gonna be living it up and party. You're not realizing, like, a lot of black women are fed up with the same men that you are trying to now get with, because I think in culture, you know, like Sir Mix-a-Lot was hot in like 92, I think. In 2000, white people were banging Sir Mix-a-Lot like he just came out. So I think there's like a gap of 5, 10, 15 years where we'll do something and then they'll do something. So when you see black women out here dating black men and going through all these problems and situations and, just anything you can think of, they start to think it's cool. They start to think I'm being a part of the culture. So, not realizing she been dealing with baby mama drama. She been dealing with cheating. This dude been taking her car, going on trips. He been stealing her money. He been lying. He been doing everything up under the sun to really hurt this woman. And you only see what rap is portraying. You only see what the movies are portraying. You only see it from a filtered lens. You don't actually know what's behind the mask. So a lot of women are starting to get in relationships with black men, and they're now starting to get in the same games as the black women who have been abused, the black women who have, I'm pregnant and now you got another woman pregnant. And don't get me wrong, this is not all black men. This is not all black women. I'm just talking about the hip hop and the rap culture, the drill culture, the trap culture that's here now. There are many sophisticated black men and black women. We're just talking about this new trap culture. And when social media kind of made everything clumped together, now you can see they don't really understand the problems that a black woman have, but they just want to kind of latch on and say, well, I can talk like her. I can act like her. I can wear the outfit like her. I can wear the nails like her. I can have, basically it's an imitation. And some, like the Miley Cyruses of the world and different people, they can dive into the hip hop culture and make a few hits, and then they can jump right back out and continue what they were doing because of relevancy. So watch out for culture vultures. Culture vultures are people who just want to prey on your culture and basically imitate you without any knowledge. They call it cultural appropriation, I guess, in today's time. But I think that that's something that's taken way too far for me. I'm just talking about in general with the black woman prototype. There are a lot of women who want to be black women, and sometimes black women don't even want to be themselves. So that's a tough one right there. That's a big conundrum, because so many women want to have the body like you. They want to talk like you, want to dress like you, act like you, but they don't know the many different shades of black women and also their attitudes. Which brings us to our next point, the hate that we have for our own kind. One thing about me is I analyze a lot. I look at a lot of situations and I say, wow, I have women who I've worked with, and they may be from Iraq. They may be from Yemen. They may be from, wherever they are. They're not from this country. And they have very different morals and values and standards and all of the thing. We can go down the line on all those things, but they're very different than the culture here. So at that job, whenever a Arab woman or a Chaldean woman would come into the job, the other Arabs, the other Chaldeans would take her in, make sure she did the job right. They would all eat together. They would all drink together. They would tell stories. They would get each other's numbers. They would create that's another person within their community. And I noticed that when the young black women came in, there was this separation of, I ain't helping her. She can get it on her own. Why I got to help her for? What? And even the girl who came in, her energy was, who they looking at? I'm ready to fight anybody. And I was like, wow, the hate that we have for our own kind is sad. Women literally, and not just women, men too, our own, black people, Hebrews, African Americans, Israelites, whatever you want to say. We have a disdain for each other. We hate each other. When we don't share, we take our crumbs and we say nobody's getting them. I don't trust nobody. I don't like nobody. I can do bad all by myself. We have all these cliches and sayings that become our Bible, but that's a crazy thing for me, that we hate our hair. We hate our eyes. We hate our lips. We hate our nose. It was Malcolm X who said, "Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate yourself? So we have a lot of self-hate that was brought upon us and forced upon us. And now you're starting to see the manifestation of it, because we literally will fight over anything. If a girl look at you wrong, if a guy steps on your shoe, if he has on a different color, if somebody owes you $5, we are ready to fight and hurt you and almost kill you over those reasons. When I see other cultures, they're not like that. Yes, there are other cultures that are poor, are in poverty, are fighting for their next meal, are standing in line for water in a bucket, but they don't kill each other over it. The hip hop, the trap, the rap culture that we have is self-hate. It's self-hate. And I know that there are people who are not about self-hate. There are people who love the black. There are people who love their hair. There are people who we love our essence. We love our curly hair. We love our brown eyes, our full big lips. We love our wide nose. We love that these eyes see right through your soul. This is the essence. Some people don't want to be it, but there are some that do. The self-hate has to stop, and it starts with education. It starts with love. We have to learn to love and share with each other. Everybody's not out to get you. Everybody's not out to burn you. Let's go to the next point. I think I want to incorporate both of these to be one point. The mad black woman and the strong black woman. Too many times, black women in particular have been deemed the mad black woman anytime they don't agree with what's going on. Anytime they're not submissive, anytime they have anything to say, anytime they put that hand up and say, I'm not going for that, all of a sudden they're the mad black woman. The stereotype that is put on black women is very wrong and misconstrued. I can't tell you how many times people have dismissed a woman and just say she's just a mad black woman, not realizing her pain, her anger, her frustration, meaning she's a human being. She's a person also. She goes through things. And when something doesn't go her way, is she just supposed to take it with a smile? Is she just supposed to take oppression with a smile? Is she just supposed to take people talking crazy to her behind a desk? Is she just supposed to take it and smile? I'm not saying that you have to be perfect, and I'm not saying that every woman is that way. What I'm saying is when a black woman doesn't when a black woman doesn't agree with something and she states her opinion, she's immediately written off as a mad black woman. Immediately written off as a mad black woman. I believe that people have feelings, people have emotions, people go through things, people have been damaged, people have been hurt, people need therapy. There's all types of things that people need, but sometimes it's just about, I don't agree with you. I'm not as submissive as you want me to be. I may have a different perspective than you. I may have been raised in a certain area where I talk a certain way. It's not necessarily about being mad. It's just that you may not like my tone. It's not necessarily about being mad. It's just that you may not like my tone. Now, we know there are bad apples, but every black woman who states her opinion in a stern way is not a mad black woman. Don't get it twisted. These are facts. The other thing, the strong black woman. We have so many women who have had to be strong. We have so many black women who have had to be strong. When you work out in the gym, if you're lifting 5-pound weights, you don't have much resistance, so you don't get strong. But if you're lifting 50, then 100, then 200, then 250, then 300, you have so much resistance that you become strong. Black women have become strong because they have had to become strong. Now, I'm not blaming it on black men. It's the system, it's men, it's all these counterparts that you can throw in there. But the main factor is women have had to become strong and independent. Women have had to do things on their own. They've had to raise children on their own. They've had to get the job. They've had to change the tire. They've had to take the garbage out. They've had to do things on their own. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to or they should have to. What I'm saying is the environment that was created for them made them become strong and independent. But understand, most women don't just want to be labeled the strong black woman because they know it is hard being strong all the time. Nobody cares. Nobody checks on you. Everybody thinks you are okay. Nobody says, let me give her a call and just tell her to keep her head up, because they already think you got your head up. Oh, she's strong. She can handle it. She got the weight of the world on her shoulders, but she's strong enough to handle it. They don't understand that a strong black woman still wants to have moments of vulnerability. She still wants to feel like a human being. Sometimes she wants to take that S off of her chest and just cry and just grieve and just vent and just reset and let it down. But the world is not letting her. There are so many women that I know who are labeled strong black women. But at the end of the day, they say, hey, I don't want to be strong all the time. There's some moments where I want to be weak and I want you to be strong and you to lead. Don't get it twisted. But this is another thing that comes down to the black woman prototype. They think that black women are always mad. They think black women are these strong women who never need anybody. And some women have started to believe it too. But don't get it twisted, people. This is the black woman stereotype, and we diving into it. This is GVG. It's starting to get serious. Tell me it's not. Next point. The need for each other. We need each other. We have so many things coming at us on a daily basis that are telling us that we don't need each other. We have so many things that happen in our community, in our homes, in the churches, wherever you want to say, in the workplace. We have so many things that divide us, that put us in a position of being separate. And the black woman and the black male, we need each other. We lift each other up. We help each other. And I think that there's a stigma now of, I could do bad all by myself. I don't need nobody. All I need a man for is money and sex. I don't need a husband. Man ain't the head of my life. I don't need none of that. I'm the head of my life. I make my own money. I'm the leader of this. I am the table. I am the table. That's what you hear a lot now. I am the table. And a lot of women are okay with being side chicks now. A lot of women are okay with dealing with the married man as long as he gives her exactly what she wants. So the need for each other is very big, not just in marriage terms or procreation terms, but just life in general. A black woman should feel protected around me. She shouldn't feel like I'm untrustworthy. She shouldn't feel that if she leaves her purse open that I'm going to take $20. She shouldn't feel that if she's drunk around me that I'm going to take advantage of her. A black woman should feel protected, and vice versa. A man should not feel the exact same way that I just said. He shouldn't feel that way. But it's happening on a daily basis. Black men, black women, we need each other. Men and women, period, we need each other. The feminist movements, the chauvinist movements, the red pill, blue pill, this, that, and the other, I call it the truth pill. I try to bring you truth, not just red, not just blue, not just this, not just that. I'm trying to bring you real truth, real facts, real life, real spiel. Your boy Hally. This is Gvg Podcast, and we need each other to advance the system, to advance procreation, to advance love, to advance our children, to advance teaching, educating, all the things that we need in this life. We need each other. We're going to go to the next point. The miseducation of the ones who are not them. Think about the workplace. There are many people who are miseducated on black women. I'm not a woman, so I'm not trying to say that I have all the facts. I'm just talking about what I see. White women, no disrespect, Asian, whatever, we can go down the line. When they work with a black woman, most of them are very miseducated. It's either on the naive side or the doing too much side, as the kids would like to say. You either have that coworker who is going out of their way to try and portray themselves as being down like you, or you have the ones who are very naive to, so black people do like fried chicken. Okay. Oh, you brought watermelon in. Oh, so you can do two things at once. Oh, your hair is so nice and it's so curly. Oh, I didn't think that you would be able to handle this project. They tell on you a lot. Black women, you know what I'm talking about. They tell on you a lot. You can have a hair out of place and they're going to go tell on you. I don't know what it is about people being intimidated by a black woman, but it's there. It's definitely there. So there's a miseducation about black women in the workplace, in the world, wherever you go. People are always miseducated on the black woman, assuming, not asking questions, but just assuming. And even when they do ask questions, they just kind of write it off because they think, she's just a black woman. It is what it is. Who cares? Pish tosh. You got any Grey Poupon? But start to educate yourself. Start asking questions, real questions. Take the time to learn. Take the time to be educated. Take the time to have compassion and love, because black women, they are everything. They are great. Next point is the stolen perception of attitude. What does that mean, Hally? Stolen, to steal, perception of attitude. I believe, and I see the black woman is the prototype for the new culture. We could talk about suburbs, women in the suburbs. We could talk about women in church. We could talk about the LGBTQIA community. When you look at the gay community, I'm going to single out just the G, or the queer and the gay, I guess. When you look at that community, and this is no disrespect, when you look at that community, most of the time they have a perception of the flamboyant attitude. Now, I was always a firm believer, if you're a man, or you're a man, regardless if you like other men or not. That doesn't mean you can't wear a football jersey and walk straight. But there is a teaching, I guess, or an education that comes with the diva. Now, I believe, and you can say that I'm wrong, but I believe that a lot of the gay community and the queer community have patterned themselves after the black woman, with their flamboyancy, with their dressing, with how they address problems, with their cliches, with just the way they operate. They don't operate like a man who's gay. They operate like a complete woman. So I think that that's a stolen perception of attitude, because every black woman isn't that way. There are a lot of soft-spoken, well-spoken, articulate women who you could pattern yourself after if that's what you do. But for some reason, you pattern yourself after the angry black woman, or the mad black woman, or the I ain't got time for this black woman. You don't pattern yourself after the successful woman, the nice woman, the articulate woman, the one who would give you the shirt off her back. So I think that's a stolen perception. I know that that's a mixed bag right there. Some people may agree with me, some may not. But I just always thought that the diva attitude that's portrayed, you learned it from somewhere. You maybe have learned it from TV. You may have learned it from social media. To my people that's new, you may have learned it from friends. You may have learned it from being around all women. Whatever it is, that was a learned behavior, because just because you are queer or gay does not mean that you have to operate in a diva form or a flamboyant form of being this outlandish person who everyone has to see, and I'm going to talk to you and grab the air and do all the mannerisms and all of that. Like, that was learned. That's not a natural behavior. So, and I can go to other women just in general. We know that the hip hop culture, the rap culture is very big right now. And the Megan Thee Stallions and Cardi B's and Ice Spices and Doja Cats of the world have inspired people, young and old, to have a certain attitude, to have a certain flair and flamboyancy, to have a certain attitude about things. So you can see that it bleeds through on every angle. You can be in church, you can be at the workplace, you can be at the Social Security office, you can be anywhere, and you will see that the salt has been poured. The salt is there, and people you wouldn't even expect to be that way are that way now, because hip hop, the culture of hip hop has taken over. So that culture that you see, you have so many other people who are not even in that culture, but they have adopted the mannerisms, the values, the morals, and the game of it all. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to me. It's a stolen perception of attitude. You believe that this is how black women act, and in turn, you're going to act that way. But it's not a real perception. It's just what you think through music and videos and TikTok and all of that. But there are so many well-spoken, well-mannered, great women out here who are of color. To the next point. Having money and having a man. I believe, and I see that there's this new wave of wanting to replace a man, or saying I don't need a man because I have money. Or a man can't tell me what to do because I have money. I have all my own everything. But the funny thing is, why do we equate money with masculinity? Why don't we equate money with femininity? None of us do. We equate money with masculinity. We equate beauty with femininity. Think about it. Like, really just ponder on this one. You say, I don't need a man, I got my own everything, which in turn is saying the man is supposed to give me everything. You equate the man with providing. You equate the man with protection. So once a woman says, I don't need a man, I have my own everything, she doesn't even realizing that she's actually equating those things to a man. You can still have those things and have a relationship with a man. Your relationship doesn't have to consist solely based on monetary value. I'm not saying you need a broke dude or somebody who don't have anything or no ambition. What I'm saying is, no matter how much money you have or don't have, it shouldn't be the determining factor on if you're an alpha or not. It shouldn't be the determining factor on if you saying, I'm not going to be submissive because I got $100,000 house. I got a $50,000 car. I got all my own everything, this, that, and the other. That has nothing to do with the man and the woman's relationship. That's one slice of the pie. There's so many other slices. And if you're blinded to the fact that just because you have money, you don't need him, You may be single, or you may be unhappy, or he may be unhappy. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not telling women don't be powerful. I'm not telling women don't be fierce. I'm not telling them don't make money. What I'm saying is if you equate money with masculinity, then you're getting it wrong. You're equating money with masculinity. You're not equating money and saying, hey, I'm feminine, but I still get money. But I still want a man to come help me with some of these decisions and still show me the way and lead me. I mean, I'm a biblical man, so I do believe that the man is the leader, the man is the head. But at the same time, there are areas where my woman is going to be better than me. And I'm going to say, you take that lead. I make the decision. You take the lead, though, because you know way more about that than I do. It's called teamwork. So there are a lot of things that have portrayed themselves to, or people and stigmas and all of these things that have pounced on the black woman prototype to where people believe that, without believing it, that they are just taking and pulling from the soul of a black woman. And then they can just go out and live their normal lives, not realizing that hurts. There are so many people in the world today who are just taking and pulling from the soul of a black woman. They are taking her essence. They are taking all of the avenues of being a black woman, but don't have to deal with the problems, the oppression, the worries, the fear, the hurt, the pain of being a black woman. There are things that you will never know if you were never in the skin they were in or you were them. I'm a black man, but I can never proclaim myself to be a black woman. I could never act like I know every single problem that they have because I am not them. I have black daughters. And they go through things. And sometimes it's hard for me to even understand. Never take away from these black women. Never take away from our sisters. Never take away from our mothers, our cousins, our daughters. Never take away from them the experience that they have in this world, because it is a real one and it hurts. It is painful. Yes, they have joy, but they also have pain. They have ups, but they also have downs. They want to be great, but they also have fears and challenges that we will never know of. So understand that there are plenty people out here who are trying to imitate and take the black woman's soul and put it in a petri dish and create something new out of it. You will never be able to be the black woman. You will always just be the black woman prototype. This your boy Hally, this Gvg Podcast, and we out. I love my black queens.
Thank you for being a part of this experience. GVG appreciates every single one of you. I hope you came away from this video with a little more perspective, patience, understanding, and purpose. So until next time, we on Christ time.